I think I remember seeing it. I never went to it, but then when I did come, it was over here in the corner. Or maybe I might have went one time, but yeah, man, it's a big thing. Skateboards,
Yeah.
records, cassettes. What do you got?
Yeah.
Hats.
We've got shirts, hats, patches, skateboard pads, skateboard helmets, flags, back patches, t-shirts, leather jackets, hoodies, shorts, whatever,
You know what's cool about
Puzzles.
everything too is anybody that you talk to that is not from Denver, like maybe in a band, pretty much knows about Chain Reaction Records in Denver, and that's how you want your name to be. You know what I mean? And that's what's cool about it is like anybody you really meet, like you'd meet any band from New York hardcore that's been to Denver and knows you guys would probably say, oh yeah, Josh from Chain Reaction. Oh yeah, that place is fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, like Roger from Agnostic Front was here. A couple of guys from Agnostic Front. Harley from the Cro-Mags came in and did the meet and greet here. And like part of that is like right before COVID hit. We were like, okay, what's our game plan for the next year? And it was like, game plan is domination.
Yeah.
And my plan was, okay, that just meaning we're going to start advertising on the national level.
Yeah.
In Razor Cake, Razor Blades, and Aspirin, sponsor the New York Hardcore Chronicles. Just get the name out there so that people in other towns know that when they go to Denver, we've got to go there.
Yeah. That's no. That is, or I said no, but I'm joking. But no. But that's cool though, man. Seems like you've met a lot of people in the industry, like that kind of, you could share your story with, that kind of feel you. You know what I'm saying? Like that remember you for something good.
Yeah.
Not the drunk guy at the show. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that dude from Chain Reaction. Oh yeah, that dude was a cool motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's awesome about it, bro. And just having this whole setup like this, and I mean, this is some stuff people only like dream about and talk about, and really never take advantage.
I used to have the dreams. I used to dream about these wild record stores that had every record I ever wanted.
Yeah.
And then we built it.
There it is. If you dream it and think it, you can build it. You can happen.
Yeah, it was a total field of dreams. Build it and they will come. We built it and people started showing up.
Now, are you originally from Denver?
No, so my brother and I grew up on the western slope over in Carbondale, so in the Roaring Fork Valley.
Okay.
And which was crazy. We actually had like a little thriving hardcore punk scene there. So into the late 80s, there was a band the next town over, Glenwood Springs, called EOS, End of Story. Mm-hmm. And they had started coming over to Denver, playing some bigger shows, Dag Nasty, 7 Seconds, Warzone. So they were going back and forth a lot. And then you had Bob Rob, Donut Crew, Bob Rob and Sonny, Donut Crew Records and stuff, and meeting those guys. Bob and Sonny were the ones putting on the shows and getting EOS over. Then we had those guys come over and play in Glenwood. And my brother my brother Van and Joe from EOS, who's now playing drums in clusterfux, we were all in this band called FIA. Fuck it all, way back when. And then we came over to Denver a couple times. We played, the one time was up near Fort Collins, I think. We played with The Offspring and who did we play with? The Offspring and the Grups in this tiny little Grange hall. And then we played with Rancid at the Mercury. And then we had a couple of other shows in Boulder with one was Chaos UK and the other one was Destroy, and that was kind of FIA's thing. And that was then something happened, singer moved or whatever. And we broke up and dudes moved around and whatnot, and then we all started relocating over to Denver. And my brother was already jamming with some dudes and had like the first version of clusterfux, and I was still living in Carbondale. And Sonny K called me and he's like, hey, I've got this band Blank 77 coming to town. They're gonna play in Boulder. You ever heard of them? I'm like, oh yeah, I like Blank 77. You want to play with them? I'm like, yeah, sure. Except I was living in Carbondale and I didn't really have a band, so I was like, oh, well, I got you know.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
"We're doing a show. I even have a band." So I called up my brother, and he's like, "Oh, I'll move to Denver." So we moved to Denver. We practiced clusterfux for a week, and then we played the Blink 77 show. So I was in the band for like a week, learned a couple songs, and then we went and played that show. And
Oh yeah. it seems like everything comes out when you get put on the spot.
oh
sometimes.
yeah. But yeah, over at
But that's good, though.
Carbondale and Glenwood, man, in the shadow of Mount Sopris, we had it was this dude Jeff Layton that tagged it on the side of the high school in Carbondale, in probably like 1987 maybe. RFHC, Roaring Fork Hardcore, and it's tattooed on my arm, and then that was our crew or whatever, you know. And you had EOS and Legion of Faith from Glenwood. In Carbondale, we had a couple. Like I was in this band Metal Warfare, and then it was Death from Above, and then it was oh hell, I don't even remember. And somewhere FIA, and then Up Yours, and then in Basalt there was a band called Riff Raff, and then there was more of like a straight up metal band, Lead Emergence, and then Strophus was more of a thrash band. Like, so there were bands coming up. And Grand Junction had a couple bands, like Social Control, like way back in the day, and yeah, like a lot of people don't realize that all that was going on over there.
Wow, that I really didn't either, to be honest with you. Like my boy Germ, peace out Germ Ball. He was saying that they like heard of you guys like before, way before all this. You know what I mean? Like the Carbondale Punks or so? Carbondale Punks or
Carbondale Punks.
Yeah, he was like
we would get called we were called the Carbondale Punks. People call us the Mountain Punks.
Yeah.
Filth Punks, because we were all really into the band Filth, you know. And like, oh, the Filth Punks are coming to Denver or whatever, you know, like.
That's crazy how you get into a band when you see the band or you meet somebody, you know. Like that's how a lot of people like. It seems like they get turned on to a band is when they meet. You know what I mean? Like I met Jimmy G. I want to say 20 something years ago, probably 20 plus years ago at New York Hardcore, when him and Vinny owned it. And like it was just Jimmy there, and I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just going through all these tapes. You probably wouldn't even know half these bands. Everybody just hands me a tape when they come in and this and that." I sat and bullshitted with that dude for like an hour, and
that's rad, man.
He's over here telling me, "Did you go to CB's yet? Did you go check CB's? Did you go?" I'm going right now. And sure enough, I went and checked out CB's. I didn't see a show, but I got to see it. You know what I mean? Before whatever. So I mean. I was kind of into Murphy's before that, but I mean, you know, meeting him, it was like, wow, you know what I mean? And then when I met him here, I was like a fucking drunken idiot, but, you know, but it's cool though. Like bands like that, like meeting the band, somebody from the band is usually like a good thing for other people, like somebody that's unknowledgeable about what you're doing, you know, so.
Dude, like Filth, man, my introduction to Filth was their interview in Maximum Rock and Roll. Like, oh, these guys look fucking cool. So I wrote to them. They sent me a tape and a bunch of patches and stuff, and, you know, it was Mike from Filth, and so we just started, you know, we were pen pals, you know, and then, you know, whatever, life and stopped writing or whatever, and then MySpace came along. We met up on MySpace, and we were like talking and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, do you still have that tape that I sent you years ago?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I'm like, "Is there any way you can make me a copy of it?" He's like, "I don't have one." So I burned it onto disc for him and sent him the disc, you know, and then we get moved over to Facebook, and then Filth ended up doing those reunion shows out in the Bay Area, so my brother and I flew out for those, and we're at the Gilman Street show, and he's like, "Dude, thanks for the CD," and gave me a shirt, and I'm like, "Ah, right on, man," you know, and that was, you know, at that point, what, like almost 20 years later from an interview he did in Maximum Rock and Roll, and I wrote him a letter, you know, and
hell yeah.
You know, rest in peace, Mike.
It's always a cool story. I love stories like that. That's why I definitely want to get you and your brother on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to hear about the, you know, touring stories, stuff like that. You know, because that's
sometimes like just hit dudes up. Like we were like, oh, I mean, you know, the Accused are playing shows again. Like we should have them play Denver. I'll send him a message. Blaine wrote back, yeah. What's up? Let's play Denver. Like, okay, so contacted Peter Orr, talked a little bit and what the show looked like, and flew him into Denver. All right, here's the Accused, man.
That's awesome that you're doing that, man. That's awesome that you're doing all of this. It kicks ass. It kicks ass. And, you know, me growing up, I wish there was really someplace like this. You know what I mean? To feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like a safe spot type of thing.
Yeah.
Because music's always made me feel safe, but for some reason, gangster rap hasn't always made me feel safe.
Yeah.
But like when I listen to like hardcore death metal, or not even death metal, but like D-beat or whatever like that, it's like for some reason I have this feeling of safeness. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's your tribe, man, your people. You know?
And that's what drives me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get tired of hearing about drug dealing and this and that, and guns and women and this and that. You know, so it's like, I'll go on a hip hop bender for about a week or two, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going back to.
Listen, I go in and out of stuff. I'll go like super into, you know, like some black metal for a while, and I get all burned out on Satan and stuff. You know, and like, I need something else. You know, and then you go down this rabbit hole for a while, and like, okay, that's too much PMA. I need to go over here a little bit. You know?
That's too much positivity.
Yeah, like,
you know,
you get in different moods and stuff. You know, like the new Dark Throne album dropped a couple weeks ago. Like, I have a real hard time listening to Dark Throne when it's 90 degrees out. You know, and like sweating my ass off. And like, I listen to it like, oh, it's a good album. It's gonna sound even better when it cools off this fall. You know, like.
Yeah, more of the fall albums.
Yeah.
Seasonal albums.
Yeah.
But that's not Christmas. This is Christmas. You know?
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
That's like on a cruise, you know, there's some albums that like, oh, that's a windows down, cruising out Colfax, cranking it album, you know? And others like, no, let's just go home, put it on the turntable, and take it in album, you know?
No. Yeah. But I don't mean to cut this short, but I want to thank you for being on the show.
Yeah,
you know
man.
What I mean? Bullshitting with me for a minute.
Oh, yeah,
letting
brother.
people know your little story and what's going on. But if you need anything, what is it? I try to remember.
We are at 8799 West Colfax, Lakewood, Colorado, 80215.
Chain Reaction Records.
Yeah.